Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here excited for the very first time to be reviewing a headset from Pimax. This is the Crystal Light that we have here, and honestly, if you guys have watched this channel for a while, I have never reviewed a Pimax headset before. Now, Pimax did reach out to me and send this to me for me to make this video, but they didn't like give me any opinions on how to make this video. They didn't give me like a script or anything. They said, do whatever you want. Here's the headset. Review it as you will. We like your content and stuff like that. They didn't get paid to make this review or anything like that, but they did send it out to me for free for me to take a look at it for you. So that's what we're going to be doing here today, and I'm pretty excited about it because Pimax. From you guys know on this channel, we have a lot of headsets that we've used. You know, I got the Big Screen Beyond 2 right behind me that I just reviewed. Of course, we have the Quest 3. We have the Quest 3S back there. We got the PlayStation VR 2 back there. We have the Apple Vision Pro. We have the Play for a Dream headset that's sitting behind me as well that we just reviewed on this channel. So a lot of different headsets being reviewed on this channel here lately, and this is another one to the pile, but this one's going to bring something a little differently because this is a higher resolution panel than the Big Screen Beyond, and it is a wired PCVR headset. So as far as wired PCVR, this is going to be the highest resolution headset that I've tried in wired form that has a direct DisplayPort connection. So we're going to get really high fidelity at 2880 resolution per eye, so that's really exciting to take a look at. And Pimax is also known for pushing the boundaries of FOV. Which is something that I'm excited to try because a lot of the headsets that I've tried naturally have had a much smaller FOV than, you know, what Pimax usually tries to deliver here. So I'm excited for that as well, and connecting this to the PCVR and experience and see what it's like. The only thing that I wish I had right now is I actually ran out of contacts, so I don't have contact lenses right now, which means I have to wear this with glasses, so you guys will see how that feels and how that looks like here with glasses. But then on top of that, I didn't get lenses with this as well. So, you know, a lot of the headsets, actually every headset I have in this house has lens inserts because that's my preferred way to play VR because it's so much easier than wearing contacts or glasses. So depending on what I think about this headset and how the future partnership goes with Pimax, if I end up keeping this headset and liking it, then I may invest in some lenses to make more video content for you guys. But for today, we're using glasses. We'll see how that experience is with this. And if you guys want to support me and the channel, there will be an affiliate link where you guys can save some money buying the Pimax here from me and my affiliate link. That will go a long way to supporting the channel and getting more future devices from either Pimax or other companies that see interest in this space. Obviously, watch this review first, see what my thoughts are, and see if it's a good headset like we're about to do right now. But if it ends up being a good headset and I end up recommending it, then the affiliate link will be down below. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are with the unboxing. Like I said, here is the box here for Pimax. Just a standard black box that this comes in that says the word Pimax in the front. So nothing crazy with the packaging on the front. We're going to go ahead and open this here for the very first time. I have never even seen a Pimax headset before because I've never been to any trade shows or anything, so I have literally nothing to compare it to. Now, I do have a Crystal Light inspection spreadsheet where they kind of go through, make sure all their tests pass with the lenses, with the exterior shell, the face foam, appearance and buttons, backstrap assembly, all of it passed. Controllers, product labeling, project headset, everything passed. You have the supervisor's name and the employee name on here as well, so it is nice that they, you know, take a look at everything to make sure everything is in order before shipping it out, which is nice to see. We'll go ahead and put this to the side here. Now, this uses an inside-out tracking method, so that means that the controllers that this thing comes with, which we have right here in front of me, we're going to go ahead and take this out. Again, never seen a Pimax controller before, but it looks very reminiscent of other controllers that I've used. Go ahead and take some of these sticky notes out of this here so we can go ahead and take a look. But what makes this great is a lot of PCVR headsets that we are used to, especially ones that have direct connection to your computer that use SteamVR, usually make you use the index controllers and the base stations that are sitting up there. Now, the base stations will probably be the most accurate way to track your controllers, and there is an optional module that you could get for this headset that basically switches out the faceplate in front that lets you use your index controllers and your base stations if you so happen to have them like I do. But if you don't have them and you just want to use this headset with PCVR, a lot of the times you don't get that flexibility. A lot of the times you don't get inside-out tracking, and this one does. So you have these controllers right here. Oh, forgot a sticky note. Right there. A lot of the times you don't get that. So here we are. We got the inside-out tracking. So there's going to be cameras on the front of the headset tracking your controller. So we're going to test these out with PCVR and see how well they actually do and keep up. But on first impressions here, they do feel really nice in the hands. Analog stick feels good. Buttons feel good to click on. And, you know, clicking them and stuff like that feel good. And no issues with that. So excited to try these out. They are rechargeable as well. They have USB-C on the bottom. They last about 20 hours or so, according to Pimax. We'll put that through its paces, but really excited that this is inside-out tracking just to see how it compares to somebody who has base stations and stuff like that, who uses that with other headsets. And you still have the flexibility, like I said, to buy the faceplate if you want to. Now, here is the headset itself. We have some things here on the bottom that we need to remove. It's attached to a box. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and see what's in these little bags right here first that are kind of in the way of the headset that is in these pouches. So in these pouches here, you have two USB-C to USB-A connections here to charge those controllers that I was talking about. So we have those there, standard controller, USB-C wires. And then here, let's see what we have in here. So here in this bag, you got a bunch of plugs, depending on what country you're from, whether you're in Europe and the United States and stuff. So all the different plugs that you would need to plug into the headset to recharge it are all sitting right here. So that's really good that it comes with everything and you don't have to worry about, you know, depending on which country, they just have everything in the box ready to go. So that is there. And then you got the headset itself along with the box underneath it. Let's go ahead and get the foam out of the way here for a second so we can get to the box. There we go. So we got the headset right there. And then this is where the cable stuff is. Really easy setup is what this should be. We'll see. I've never used Pimax before. I know in the past, like, you know, over a year ago, they used to have some issues with software and stuff like that and people setting up Pimaxes. But apparently that's improved a lot from the people who have reviewed these latest headsets already. So we got a 4.5 meter cable that we have here, DisplayPort, and also USB-A to plug in the headset to there. And here is the headset itself. I mean, this thing, not gonna lie, is a pretty massive headset compared to all the other headsets that I have. I mean, if I put this thing to the side here and take a look at this in a minute for the other things that are in here, look at the size of this headset here. I mean, it is a pretty big headset, but that's also going to allow for a really big, you know, FOV that they tout with this headset. It does look like it's a pretty comfortable headset. And even though it has a good amount of weight, it seems like it's distributed pretty well based on what I've heard and what I'm feeling right now. Because, for example, the Quest 3 that's right behind me, yes, it's a much smaller headset, but they actually weigh about the same when you're somebody like me who has, and I'm sure a lot of people are in this boat, when you're using the Quest 3, but also using a Bobo VR with a battery pack in the back, it actually weighs pretty much the same as what you have with this. So even though this headset's much bigger, looks can be deceiving. Sometimes the weight is actually the same depending on how you're using your headset. So is a pretty big headset, but I'm definitely excited to try this out. The cameras are there in the front of the headset. There's 4 cameras on there to track those controllers, 2 here on the bottom, 2 here on the top. That's the faceplate that could be removed if you want to remove it. So I'm excited to check that out. And then you also have the aspheric lenses. So these are lenses that I've never tried before. This is something Pimax uses. So these are QLED lenses. So it's not OLED per se, but it does have local dimming. So you're going to still get, you know, really good colors and good blacks. It won't be as good as OLED, but it will be, you know, close to it. And these aspheric lenses, what they allow is a really gigantic sweet spot. These lenses are really, really good lenses that I'm excited to try as someone who's never tried them. I've heard a lot of good things about them with the really big sweet spot and just how good they are, and that's how they can maximize their FOV. And you can just see by looking at them in here how big these lenses actually are. Now, this also does have built-in audio. We'll take a look at that when we try some games. So you have the audio strap here. They do sell another accessory, the DAS accessory, that makes the audio quality, from what I heard, exponentially better. If Pimax eventually sends that to me, I'll do an updated review on the audio on this specifically for it. We'll talk about the built-in audio right now that you get with the headset when you purchase it, but just know that they also sell upgraded audio as well that I hear definitely improves it, and if we get that in our hands, we'll do an updated review on that. You got the standard facial cushion that comes in here. It does have a slot for glasses because you can see the cutout here on the side, so that is obviously good to see. And then you have this area here where you can route the cable right here on top. so the cable kind of stays out of the way when you need to. So that is the headset itself. Like I said, I am excited to try this out for sure and see this FOV and see what these lenses can actually do. And like I said, the highest resolution headset that I've tried when it comes to plugging in a headset directly to DisplayPort. I've tried other ones that are higher resolution when it comes to, wireless PCVR that I've done on this channel, but not anything higher, because this is higher than the Big Screen Beyond 2 and stuff, which used to be the highest headset that I tried before this. So this is the plug that you need to plug into when you're using the headset. So basically you plug this into the side of this little cable here, and this is where it gets its power from. So you plug in the USB-A and DisplayPort, and then you plug in power to the back of this here, so the headset gets power. To power on the cameras and everything, and then you're kind of good to go with that. So we have the power cable for that, and that's pretty much it. Then you get a lens cloth in the headset, and that is everything that comes in the box here. So now we're going to switch over to the PC side of things and take a look at how we actually set this thing up, because like I said, a lot of people used to have a lot of issues setting up Pimaxes back in the day, not necessarily with this light, but just Pimaxes in general. And I have never owned a Pimax before. This is my first one, so this is going to be my first time downloading their software, seeing the options and seeing what's available. So let's go ahead and plug this in, set it all up, and see where we go from there and download the software. So I did just plug in the headset here. This is the Pimax headset like I talked about, and we just plugged it in. Nothing too complicated. Like I said, we got this little dongle right here that it comes with that I showed you before. One USB-A port to your PC, one DisplayPort connection directly into your graphics card, which I have plugged in right there, and then USB-A being plugged in right there. And then you have the power cable going right from there that I told you from this adapter, and then I have it plugged into my computer. Don't mind the mess of wires down there because I'm always testing headsets and there's a bunch of stuff to do there. So that's all you need to do to actually connect it, and I did hear it plug in. Now we need to go onto the computer and download the software. All right, guys, so here we are on the desktop here. We are downloading the software like I talked about before. It is called Pimax Play. That's their new version of the software. So we're going to go ahead and download that. We already have SteamVR on our computer. If we needed to download that, we could have, but obviously I already have SteamVR, so assuming a lot of us already do with other headsets and things that we've been playing. But here we go. We're going to download the Pimax Play for the very first time. This has never been on my machine. Like I said, I've never used a Pimax computer or headset before, so we'll see how this goes. All I have is connected what I talked about before. And that was it. So it's a small utility. You could see it already finished downloading. It's only 611 megabytes. Go ahead and click English, create a desktop shortcut, sure. Install. All right, so you can see it's done now. So we're going to go ahead and hit launch. And it's telling me to log in, which obviously I don't have an account. So we're going to go ahead and log or register for one because we don't have one. Okay, so here we are with the headset here and everything that we have going on. It says view and set your Pimax device. Browse, collect, and buy PCVR games in the store that you can do right here. View or start playing Pimax Play games. View and edit personal information. Oh, and we just got a firmware update, so it does do it automatically, which is nice. Go ahead and hit next step and use redeeming codes. Use or redeem codes if you need to for your wallet. And then you can activate your crystal light will be linked to your gaming techie. Click confirm. So first of all, let's go ahead and do the firmware update. This device is not connected. Please replug in and unplug the. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and hit upgrade now. It is currently upgrading the headset. All right, so as you can see here, the firmware updated. It took about 5 minutes or so for the firmware to update, and now it says complete. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue here. It's going to reopen back the software. You are going to have to log back in. I did check off that time, log in automatically, so I don't have to keep logging in that I didn't see the first time. So the Pimax here is telling me it's going to link like we saw before we did the firmware update. So it's going to be linked to my email. So we're going to go ahead and hit confirm. You get this little message pop up saying, welcome to Pimax Products. Thank you for choosing Pimax. I'm Julia, Chief Product Experience Officer at Pimax. My team and I are dedicated to providing Pimax users with comprehensive premium experiences throughout product usage and service process. Should you have any inquiries, please feel free to contact me. You are not just a valued customer, but also a fellow traveler on our journey. So then you got the U.S. region and the Europe region, so that's pretty cool. All right, so you can see here what we have going on. So you have the headset and the controllers here plugged in. So you can see one of my controllers is already turned on. Now my other one is plugged in as well. They both have pretty decent charge in them. You got the headset sitting right here. that is also plugged in. If we had any trackers, you would see them there. You can see it says Pimax Crystal Light, which is the one that we have. You have guidance. You can start SteamVR from here. You can set pair, room settings, restart headset, restart service, and device settings. Like we talked about here, you have the store, so you can go ahead and purchase things directly from here if you want to. That are, games that you can purchase. You have your assets here from SteamVR, FPS, and stuff like that. So these are my applications. It's just curating all my games that I have from SteamVR that are sitting here. Same thing with their store. It's just going through there, download, and then a wish list that you can keep track of as well. You have a wallet where you can redeem. You have current version, so you can see here, if we check for update, it says it's running the latest update. You could do public test channel, automatic start, minimize start, hide to taskbar when closing windows, announcement tips, and download location on where this is actually going, and help if you want to go find their official website. Now, when you click on the Pimax Crystal Light, that's where you get this off. You can see it says the screen's turned off because I'm not moving it currently. So let's go ahead and look at the device settings first. So you can see that there is a controller update as well. So make sure that that firmware update you did before was just for the headset. So we're going to go ahead and check for updates on the controller. So there is new updates and firmware for both controllers. So we're going to go ahead and update these as well. All right, so you can see now it says update successful after a few minutes there, a couple of minutes there. So we go ahead and confirm. So this is the update that you can see when it checks for updates. Obviously, there's not going to be an update for the HMD because it already did that. And that's where you can do both of them right there as well if it doesn't pop up automatically. You can see the latest firmware version. You can see the tracking. You can see room lighting efficiency is set to auto. You can see the refresh rate, which you can set to 120 hertz, 90 hertz, or 72 hertz. You can set the screen timeout. We'll set that to 1 minute. You can set the brightness level. You can change the IPD. Mine's actually 66, so that's pretty accurate. Now, one of the things that I didn't talk about on the headset is that there is a dial on it, so you can go ahead and switch it. So with the dial on the side right now, if I move it, you can see it's actually moving. There we go. We have it set now to exactly 66, so really easy. So it's a manual slider on the headset. It's not something you're going to be able to, it's not like automatic like some other headsets, but that keeps the cost down. And it's still really easy to do, and you're never going to change it again. And if you need to come in here and change it because you're sharing the headset, well, there you go. Controller calibration. If you want to calibrate, calibration is unavailable when the controller is disconnected or inactive. You got simulate as Valve Index controller. We're going to leave this set to 90 hertz mode for right now. You can see games. You could do image quality is set to high, medium, or low. So we're going to set this to high. GPU upscaling. You can do sharpness. You can do fixed foveated rendering. This is where you can check the OpenXR runtime and set it to Pimax OpenXR. Under advanced, you have the IPD offset if you need to change that. You got the local dimming settings, so I have mine set to high, which is the default. You can see my fixed foveated rendering is going to be set to ultra, so we're going to go ahead and apply. Obviously, I have a 5090, so we'll see how that goes. We're going to set that to ultra. You got color options down here and brightness. So I think that's all the settings that I'm going to change for right now. If there's any settings that you guys out there are using more than me, that may be better than the settings that I set, let me know. Like I said, I have a 5090. I set the image quality to high, ultra for fixed foveated rendering, and left the rest of these as default. And set this to Pimax OpenXR, and set this to auto for room and refresh rate to 90 hertz. Of course, I could change this to 120 if I want to, but I'll leave it at 90. Screen time at 1 minute, and then the brightness and handle and stuff I left as is. So I think we're good with the way that those settings are set up. Now, you could do the room settings here, but I've already used SteamVR before, obviously, and I shouldn't have to adjust those settings at this point because I've already set up the SteamVR room settings, and that should all take into account already. So we got the controllers, we got the headset, and I think there's nothing else left to do but dive into VR for the very first time with the Pimax Crystal Light.
Okay, guys, first of all, I just wanted to let you guys know that whole thing when I talked about in the settings that you don't have to readjust your room, that is not true, because when I started SteamVR for the very first time, I was kind of on the floor because it wasn't adjusted. So you do have to go into the Pimax settings and actually hit to adjust your room. Now that we have that done, now we can actually, now you're in like an environment here, which again, I can't show you this because this is Pimax, and I can't have any way of capturing this, but basically when you don't have SteamVR started and you have the Pimax headset on, basically what you get is you're in like a void with you got the moon in front of you and like out in space and you're on top of rocks. And now I can tell that things are correctly situated because my hands are being tracked, so the controllers are ready to go even before I start SteamVR, and I can see the full landscape, and I'm actually standing on the rocks in the right position before I wasn't, so I can tell that SteamVR is now going to work. So here we are with SteamVR, something you guys all recognize here, and I am here on the Pimax, finally in here for the very first time. Well, I was in here for 2 seconds before I realized that this stuff wasn't working. But yeah, this looks really, really good in here. Things are really smooth. The lenses, like I said, this is my first time using aspheric lenses, and I'm definitely in the sweet spot. I am using glasses, like I talked about in the beginning of the video, so the glasses fit in here nicely. I am excited to eventually get lenses one day or get contacts because I can push myself to be closer to the lenses and get the FOV to be even bigger. But the FOV, even right now with the glasses, is definitely some of the biggest FOV I've seen in a headset before, because the vertical especially is taking up almost my whole entire view. Usually I can see the vertical cutoff a lot easier when I look up with my eyes, and now it's just kind of taking my whole view. The sides horizontally is big. It's not like astronomically big, like something I've never seen before. Probably like 110-ish right now. But I can't wait to get contacts and stuff to put my lenses and be a little bit closer due to the glasses obviously kind of blocking that a little bit. So I'm excited for when that day comes to use my contacts or use inserts. But even with this right now with glasses, this is the biggest FOV vertically and horizontally that I've seen in a headset up until now. And the lenses look really, really clear. I don't see any blurriness. I see the image being pretty clear across the whole entire thing. The colors look really good. Again, this is local dimming, QLED, not OLED, but still really good colors in here. While zooming around and looking at the colors, looking at the main menu here, obviously you have the menu right here as well. You can see the colors. So let's go ahead and start this. So far, so good with being comfortable and stuff like that on the headset. I don't have any issues. I do wish this cable was a little longer. This 4.5 meter cable is a little shorter than some of the other headsets that come with this. Obviously, for this video, I'm standing in this direction so you guys can see me. But if I were to play this headset on my own and I wasn't on camera, then I would just basically turn around so the cable's behind me, and then I would have a lot more leeway to actually play, because then the cable's dripping behind me because the computer is behind me that way. But obviously, for video purposes, I need to be able to face you guys. That wouldn't be a fun video if you're just staring at my behind the whole entire time. But right now, you can see we are using the tracking of the headset in SteamVR. We're using 11 table tennis to demonstrate how good that really is, because we're not using my base stations or anything, so no base stations required, which is really nice about this headset. So let's go ahead and try a single player match here. We'll do gold. Resolution is, of course, really good. Nice shot by the PC. Not getting that. That was terrible. Could have done better. You can see the tracking is working really well. For a game like this, you definitely need good tracking. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to play a game like this. I thought he was going to miss the table, and I just stared at it. Damn it, I'm getting nothing today. That was terrible. Not doing well. Not doing well, but that's not the fault of the tracking. That's the fault of me. Oh, I hit that way too high. At least we got another point. Hey, another one. Terrible. There we go. Not good. Damn it. Not a good showcase of skills at all. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I'm talking like I usually do when I do these videos. Damn. Well, regardless of my skill, it's still showing you how good the tracking is with this headset. And just using the inside-out tracking. So you can tell their algorithm is doing a pretty good job. And I say that because even this hand that I just kind of have on my side is working pretty well. Like, even though it's not like in focus, like sitting here on the camera, it's not getting lost. Nice, nice. Nice. Nice miss. Ooh, that was too high. And the resolution in here looks damn good. As you would expect for it to look like in this headset. And we lost. So yeah, that's that game. That shows you the tracking works really well. So I'm excited to continue diving into this headset because I'm pretty impressed so far. I mean, the setup wasn't that bad. Definitely pretty easy. The cable I wish was slightly longer so it would dangle a little bit more. But like I said, if I'm playing by myself, I would just turn around and I wouldn't have any issues. So the headset's behind me as opposed to the side. But right now it's kind of like tugging at me because of the cable not being shorter. You could get an extender. I've heard people get an extender, so that's something I'd probably look into. But so far so good with using glasses in VR. It's probably the most comfortable headset I've used in a while that lets you use glasses because I've gotten inserts for so many. I still want inserts because I can get closer to the lenses or contacts. That's not going to go away just because this fits glasses. But if you don't have either option for some reason, then at least you know you can use glasses with this. It is comfortable on my head. I do have it situated pretty well right here on my head with the strap on top. And having it, like, sitting on my face and everything like that is going pretty well. Like I said, the clarity of everything is really good. The FOV is pretty nice and big in this headset, especially coming from other headsets that I've been using, recently here that aren't as big as this one. For example, the Big Screen Beyond, this definitely has a larger FOV than that one, even before I get closer to the lenses. So this looks really good. So let's go ahead and now check out a game that's a little bit more demanding, Kayak VR Mirage, one of the ones that I love testing on here, just to see, how good this actually looks on here. So here we are with Kayak VR Mirage right here, a game that always looks spectacular. Obviously, the settings are all set to having everything maxed out, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and back up. Let's go ahead and go to one of my favorite ones that I like seeing all the time. We'll do this during the day first, and then we'll do it at night just to see how the black levels look like in here. Right now, it's pitch black, and it does look really good in here. Like I said, local dimming and stuff does help, even though it's on an OLED panel. It's definitely not going to be as bad as an LCD panel when it comes to black levels and stuff like that. Is it going to be as good as an OLED, like some of the headsets out there? Obviously not. The colors will still be slightly better on there, and the black levels will definitely be better. But this right here looks really, really good with the resolution being this high, and, the fixed foveated rendering is something I don't even notice. I mean, I do have it on ultra like I showed you in the settings, but it's definitely keeping track with me really well. Looks really, really good. It looks fantastic in here. Smooth as butter. You can see this little thing I have here, 90 frames per second is what I have it set to. So you can see the average is somewhere around 84-ish right now while playing. Really, really good. And damn, this, every time I come in here, I'm like, damn, this looks good. Really, really smooth because obviously the headset is, plugged in directly through a cable, so you're not worrying about any wireless compression or anything like that. So, this is something, like I said before in the video, this is the highest resolution headset I've tried that's plugged in directly through DisplayPort on my PC, being higher than the Big Screen Beyond at 2880 resolution. And this just looks incredible with how good this looks. And the FOV is nice and big right now. Nothing that I would complain about. Really, really nice looking. Looking at all the detail on everything, it just looks really, really good in here. I mean, there's not much else to say when you have panels that are, this good, and really showcase this game. So let's go ahead and go to the night scene of the same one. Just so I know it's probably not going to come out that great on video because I've done this before and it's usually very black on your side, but I'll be able to walk you through how this looks on the headset as far as the black levels and stuff. All right, here we go with the black levels here. So the black levels here look really, really good. Kind of what I would have expected on this headset. So the black levels here look really good, just how I would have expected. You know, it looks really good in this scene. It's not going to be as inky black as OLED, but it still looks very atmospheric and just really good. I don't think most people are going to complain about, you know, the local dimming on here showcasing what it's actually doing. It looks really good in here. It has a really nice, like, foggy look as you're going through here. You know, really atmospheric and really good looking, and obviously a different experience than what we just saw in the daylight, but really, really cool. Really, really nice looking, and definitely no complaints about this game at all. I mean, it looks fantastic. Really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and go into one other game here to show you guys, you know, the tracking again. I think the tracking is very spot on so far. I haven't had any issues with loss of tracking or anything. Like I said, in 11 table tennis or now, things have been really smooth coming in and out of here. Like I said, the graphics look amazing with this resolution. The atmospheric lenses are looking really good. Very nice sweet spot that you have, and you know, everything is looking really good. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into Beat Saber. Obviously, playing a song on Expert will definitely show us how good the tracking is. I'll have to play one of the lower songs so I don't get copyright striked. So I'm not going to be able to play like one of the fancy songs or anything. Otherwise, we'll get hit with a copyright strike. So we'll have to play one of the other songs. Don't see any distortion or anything like that. Edge-to-edge clarity to me seems to be really, really good. I obviously have mods in this one, but we're not going to play any of the modded songs. We're going to just play some of the originals from Beat Saber here just to see. The audio is fine. Oh, I'm not paying attention. It's definitely like loud enough in Beat Saber right now. I'm not hearing the, you know, being like, oh, I wish this was louder kind of mentality. But definitely no bass or anything like that. So I definitely look forward to the day where I can try. I'm not paying attention. Where I can try that dash system. I haven't played the song in so long, I don't remember the notes very well on what's coming up. But you can see the tracking is keeping up very well. Really impressed with the inside-out tracking and how it's performing so far in the games that I've tested. Some headsets that I've tried lose tracking when you're have your hands placed on your side for a long period of time, and you saw that in 11 table tennis, and it did not lose tracking. So something that the Quest and other headsets do really well, but some others don't do as well. It looks really good in here. So there you go. Beat Saber works really, really well in here. Really like the headset, really like the way that it looks and the colors and everything so far.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into my final thoughts now that I put this headset a little bit through its paces, playing some variety of games, not just the one I showed you guys there, but playing a little bit more with it and, you know, gathering my thoughts, as you would say. Now, keep in mind, I will be doing many more videos on this headset as time goes on. There'll be a video going up tomorrow, actually, where I showcase the Pimax playing a bunch of different, you know, racing games and stuff like that that I have access to show the sim racing fans and kind of experience what that's like and talk about that in that video, since I know a lot of people like that headset for this. So look forward to that video and then other future videos that I do on the Pimax as well. So when it comes to my thoughts, let's go ahead and get the negatives out of the way first. I think that's a good place to start. So the negatives that I have with this headset, the first one very easily is the cable length. I talked about that while I was playing it. This is a 4.5 meter cable, and while that sounds not that terrible, you guys saw what I was talking about when I was recording that video. If you guys are playing games that you have to move around a lot, even if I wanted to move around this small room and I go to the corner, I would struggle with a 4.5 meter cable with that being plugged into my PC. So especially if you're playing like facing the camera like I am with the computer next to you, because then you have the cable kind of dragging on your right and it doesn't have enough slack to kind of just lay on the floor. So what I have to do when I play is obviously, like I showed you guys in the video, turn about face and look that way. But when I record videos, it's not obviously a great option. When I play by myself, that works perfectly fine. But that would be my first thing. I wish this cable was longer. 6 meters would be a perfect cable length. And I'll look into getting some sort of extender or something like that may work with this headset and do a future video on it. But that would be my first thing. The second thing that I would complain about with this headset is the audio quality. It's not the worst audio quality by any means. I said that when I was doing the games. It's just not the best. It's nothing special or anything like that with these off-the-ear headphones. It is loud enough. It just doesn't have any punch to it. Doesn't have any bass to it. But again, they do have a $100 accessory. I don't know how to pronounce it, Damas or D-A-M-S, I don't know. Call me an idiot in the comments, I'm sure somebody will. But whatever those audio things are called, I'm looking forward to hopefully Pimax sending me them so I can retest the audio with those and do a separate review on them and see if they're worth it, because it doesn't just work for this Crystal Light, but it also works with the Crystal Super as well, which again, like I said in the beginning of the video, hopefully I get my hands on that as well, and I can review and compare and contrast the Crystal Light versus that one as well. But yeah, that would be the second thing that I would complain about, is definitely that. And the third thing about it that I would complain about is more of a me thing, and that's the glasses thing. So I told you guys while I was playing it that the glasses are comfortable and you can easily play with glasses because you have, you know, the little sides that I showed you guys in there that put the glasses in. However, just because you can do it doesn't mean that's how I like to do it. I've gotten so used to wearing VR lenses that it's my preferred way to play. At the very least, I want to wear contacts, which, like I said, I ran out right now, so I can't even do that. But not only that, obviously, with wearing glasses, you're not going to be able to get your eyes as close to the lenses as you could without glasses. That's the first thing. So your FOV might shorten a little bit, obviously, like I said. But also, even though it's comfortable, I can still feel that I have glasses on. One of the best feelings is going into VR and wearing, having lenses on them and kind of feeling like I'm in VR and seeing like the rest of the world where I don't have to wear glasses or contacts or anything. And I can kind of just see by just looking out, which has always been one of my favorite things about VR lenses. So I'm trying to get VR lenses for this one. I did email a couple of companies to see if they'll send me out some lenses for this because, like I said, it's a must in my opinion. Not only can you get your eyes closer to it, but just in general, it's a much better experience. Like I've said in every video, that's my #1 accessory recommendation for anybody for any headset, whether it's the Quest, Pimax, Play for Dream, it doesn't matter. That's what I would recommend for sure. So those are my 3 negative things that I brought up here so far. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the positives that I had with this headset. So one of the first things that I noticed here, and I was interested in trying out because again, I've never had a Pimax before. This is my first one. I was really surprised at how cheap this was. When I looked at the price and it being $857 on their website right now, I think you get a lot of value for that money. Being able to get inside-out tracking where you have the controllers built in. You don't have to get lighthouse tracking if you don't want to. And if you do want lighthouse tracking, they sell a module for the front of it, which is awesome, for $200 more. And then you could use lighthouse tracking if you have the base stations and SteamVR controllers. But it's awesome that those options exist, and it's awesome that you can get a headset of this quality at $857, which I think is a really good value. Just compare this to other headsets in the market right now, like the Big Screen Beyond 2 and stuff. Yes, obviously the Big Screen Beyond 2, I love it because it's so small, and obviously more comfortable than this because of the small nature. But as far as resolution and panels and stuff, you know, it's not easy. We're going to talk about that in a separate video when I compare all these headsets back to back with everything that I own. But yes, the Big Screen Beyond has OLED, and this has QLED panels with local dimming. But you know, what's better, having a larger FOV with that local dimming that still gets really good colors and blacks? It's just not as good as the Big Screen Beyond, or would you rather have the Big Screen Beyond and all that, and comparing them back and forth? We'll talk about that in a different video, but it's a lot closer than you think, and I'm just really impressed for the value of the money that you're getting with Pimax. And you know, what people can get for their money nowadays, of this being an under $1,000 headset that comes with the controllers, comes with tracking, and it works as well as it does with SteamVR. Speaking of those controllers, another thing I was really impressed with was how good the tracking was. I'm going to say this a lot, never used Pimax before. I said I didn't know what to expect. I know some people used to complain back in the day, but the tracking for me was rock solid. I showed a little bit of that in the gameplay there. With the games that I played with 11 Table Tennis and Beat Saber and some of the other games that I played off camera, and the tracking has been rock solid. I don't have any reason to go spend $200, even though I have the base stations already. I'll use the base stations when I play my big screen Beyond and other headsets that obviously require it, but I'm not in dire need of spending $200 just to get that better tracking. Now, I'm not going to tell you that these in and out tracking are perfect and you're never going to run into issues and it's going to be better than using base stations. That's not going to be true. For those situations where you're maybe playing a bow and arrow game and you're stretching your hand behind your back out of the lens view and stuff like that, of course, those are going to be better. But I think for 95% of use cases, I'm really happy with these controllers and just using them with the Pimax and, you know, and continuing to use them. If that changes, obviously I'll let you guys know, but that's my feelings towards it right now. And the tracking is really, really good in my opinion. The comfort is the next thing I want to talk about here, and I was really happy with the comfort, even just wearing the glasses, because when I had the headset on, yes, it's a big headset like I talked about, but the weight is pretty good, the way that it's distributed on your face. The top strap holds you up well. The back knob situates it well. And even though this is a big headset, it's actually pretty light for the actual size of it. Like I talked about in the beginning of the video, the Quest 3 with the Bobo VR and the battery pack actually pretty much weighs the same as this does. So I think the comfort is really good. I'm excited to get these lenses inserts to make that comfort even better. And I don't really have too many major issues with the comfort. I wore it for over an hour at a time and had no issues wearing it and was able to play it and not have any like crazy discomfort or anything. I will say that like the foam inserts that are in here that sits on your face is definitely not the most comfortable insert I've ever worn. I like the leather materials that I've used on my Quest, for example, and other headsets. These are not the most comfortable out there. It's kind of like a little bit more of a firm, you know, insert. Like you guys can see here, it's a little bit more firm and not as plushy like leather is. So I would switch this out to leather if I could. But that doesn't mean that these are bad, and it's definitely not as bad as like the Quest 3 was out of the box, for example. Obviously, comfort varies from person to person, but I'm happy with the way that this feels. The next thing we got to talk about is the FOV. This is what I was really excited about with Pimax, is the FOV, because Pimax has always been known to using their aspheric lenses that lets them push the FOV as high as possible because of the type of lenses that they're using, and it didn't disappoint. This is the highest FOV that I've used vertically and horizontally out of any headset I've tried so far, and it's easily noticeable as soon as you walk in, especially the vertical. The vertical, it takes up my entire view from like here to here, and I only see the outer edges if I like look up and put my eyes, and obviously I can see the outer edge of the vertical, but when you're just looking dead center and looking forward, it is hard to see that vertical edge on the top. And that's with me wearing glasses. So the FOV is probably going to get a little bit larger when I get those lenses or wear contacts. So the fact that it's already larger than anything else I've used is pretty good when it comes to that, and really makes me happy using this headset, especially with games that FOV is a really big deal and you want to be in there and, you know, see as much of the landscapes as possible, like Microsoft Simulator or American Truck Simulator and games like that, or Assetto Corsa, where, you know, the bigger FOV, the better. And it really makes me excited, not just for this headset and getting those lens inserts to see how big the FOV can be, but what they're pushing with other headsets that they're coming out with. You got the Crystal Super coming out that pushes this even 10 more degrees out than this one does when it comes to FOV. So again, I'm really excited, and I hope that Pimax sends that one out to me too, so I can compare and contrast. But even just this one right now, the FOV is a good improvement to what I've used in the past. It's not like mind-blowing, like way bigger than every headset I've used, but it is bigger and it's noticeable when I got in there and really made a good impression. I love having bigger FOV, and, you know, it was really good on this headset. And the next thing I want to talk about is the resolution. This being 2880, having 35 PBD, 10 PBD higher than what the Quest 3 has at 25. I was really happy with the Pimax here when it comes to, you know, the lens quality, the resolution, the edge-to-edge clarity on this is really good. Like I said, they're using aspheric lenses. They're one of the only ones that are using them, which gives a really big sweet spot and lets them push that FOV like I talked about. And I had no issues with the actual lenses themselves. They're great. the actual quality of the QLED and the local dimming and stuff, I thought the blacks were really good. The colors were really good and vibrant. Are they as good as headsets that are using OLED? No, obviously not. Big screen's going to have better colors. The Play for Dream headset that I reviewed here on the channel is going to have better and deeper blacks than this one, but this one's not crazy far behind. It's not like we're using an LCD panel. So if this is what we got to use right now, and that's the compromise to, hey, I want the FOV to be this large, but the compromise is we're going to have to use QLED right now because the OLEDs can't be pushed to get that bigger FOV. I think I'd rather sit in this frame right now and get the mini LED with local dimming and get a bigger FOV. I think a bigger FOV makes more of an impact on people than just getting slightly better blacks. Now, again, I wouldn't say that about LCD, but this technology that they're using here, I would say that about. And the resolution definitely is a big improvement. If you're coming from something like the Quest 3, this is, 2880 by 2880 is going to be a big jump when it comes to PCVR. You're going to need a good graphics card to push it. 4090 or 5090 and stuff like that are going to be something that you're going to want to use if you want to push this at full. Obviously, it has that dynamic or the fixed foveated rendering if you need to use that to save some frames. They have super sampling and things like that can help get you better frames. But if you want to use it at its full capacity at 120 frames or 90 frames per second, then obviously you're going to have to use this headset and have like a 5090 or a 4090. But man, the resolution is really good. It's the highest resolution I have tried on any VR headset when it comes to being wired to the PC, and it definitely shows. No pixelation or anything like that when you sometimes use wireless VR. And it does look really good in headset with the lenses and with the clarity of this thing and just that big FOV. It's really, really impressive stuff. And overall, the package of the Pimax Crystal Light, for somebody who's looking for a sub $1,000 headset for PCVR, I can't think of a better answer right now. Yes, you can get a Quest 3, but the Pimax for sub $1,000 at a higher resolution than the Quest 3 that's going to be substantial, better panels at having the QLED with local dimming, having really good tracking on it, having the onboard audio and stuff like that, having the bigger FOV than the Quest 3 has and stuff. Obviously the Quest 3 is still less expensive, but I think it's worth the upgrade to this if your primary focus is PCVR. Obviously, you're going to be dealing with a cable instead of wireless, and you're going to have to weigh your options on what you care about more. But for me, I'll take the cable. I've used cabled headsets before in order to get that better fidelity and in order to get that bigger FOV and stuff, especially if you're a sim racer. There's no question that if you're using the Quest 3 or you're thinking about what you want for sim racing and you want a wired headset so you don't have to worry about wireless VR, you don't have a Wi-Fi 7 router and stuff like that, and you haven't dove into it being that far, this is definitely the headset I would recommend that I have used so far on this channel when it comes to sim racing because of that bigger FOV and because of how good it actually looks in headset. It just looks really, really good wired up. I mean, the only competition that this one has is that big screen Beyond 2 because obviously it being so much smaller, you're going to get more comfortable and longer hours out of the big screen Beyond 2 and the OLED panels that it has. But I think the bigger FOV for sim racing and stuff like that is going to make a bigger impact for people than having the slightly better blacks and colors on the big screen Beyond 2. But again, I will do a deep dive into all the headsets that I own and what I use each headset for and who I recommend each headset for. So make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for that. But that is my early impressions of the Pimax Crystal Light. I am super impressed with how easy this was to set up, how good everything came out, and my first impressions of using Pimax for the first time obviously impressed me, and I can't wait to do future videos on this. Hopefully get a Crystal Super and do a video on that and get some more accessories for this thing as time goes on. And if you guys want to support me and the channel and you guys like this headset anyway and you like this review and you were thinking about getting one and you want to go with my recommendation and you want to support me, there will be a link down below to go ahead and use my affiliate link. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching this video. And if you guys have any questions, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.